Here in St Ives, climate protesters have been demonstrating already today. Devon and Cornwall police say that around 40 groups have confirmed their intention to protest during the G7, but a number of others, including the so-called Resist G7 coalition, have said they'll not liaise with the police. Well, joining me now, live from southeast London, is Tim Crosland, who is a spokesperson for Extinction Rebellion. He's also the director of Plan B Earth and an environmental lawyer. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. What is Extinction Rebellion's position on liaising with the police on demonstrations here or not?
I think we want to talk to people all the time. I mean, that's the idea, to get good information out there, to get good information into the public and to put an end to these lies. And we've been hearing more of them from Boris Johnson just now. What our governments told us in 2015 was that they were committed to limiting warming to 1.5 degrees. And there was good reason for that, because people are already dying and being displaced at scale. What the science tells us is beyond 1.5 degrees, whole regions of the world are going to become human death traps. We're going to see more and more pandemics. We're going to lose our food security. But what our governments have done since 2015 is pour petrol on the flames. They put $4 trillion into the fossil fuel economy since then. We're now at 1.2 degrees and we're racing beyond 1.5 degrees. We can't accept that. We can't tolerate that.
I understand that, but the point I was trying to drive at, I'm sorry if you misunderstood, was, as we know in the past, Extinction Rebellion has organised disruptive protests. This time round, what we've seen so far by protesters has not been disruptive. Is the intention of Extinction Rebellion to try and disrupt the G7 summit here in Cornwall?
I think it's absolutely right that people try and disrupt what is misleading people, and these talks are grossly misleading us. We've got a G7 that is addicted to fossil fuels. It's addicted to a model of pursuing gross domestic product, which in combination is destroying us. And so it is absolutely necessary to disrupt that. But of course, we need to keep talking to people, and that's why we're here.
So there likely will be some actions you're not going to tell us about to try and actually stop the proceedings here, is that right?
So we wanted a model of no surprises with the police. We've tried to have good communication, and Priti Patel has been doing Rupert Murdoch's bidding and decided to class protesters as organised criminals and decided to impose 10-year sentences for people standing up for their futures, standing up for their children. So, of course, that makes it harder to talk. But we've been clear throughout. We want honest, open dialogue with the police and everybody else. But it's very difficult if the government young people as organised criminals.
I just wonder, as you heard in the opening there, Boris Johnson talking about climate change and green issues. We've got the Queen and the heir to the throne coming here this evening to the Eden Project, again with a stress on environmental issues. We've got a government here and in the United States that have increased their environmental commitments. I mean, shouldn't you actually be celebrating what these elected governments are doing rather than just protesting?
We'd be celebrating if words were being matched with action. But words without action is just dishonest. And it's cheating the public, and it's cheating our children, and it's cheating our global family. So if what people are doing, if you listen to Boris Johnson claiming to be a climate leader, while slashing financial support from communities on the front line of the crisis. We saw a little bit earlier in your programme some of the scenes from Africa, where a pathetic amount of vaccines have been distributed. If Johnson was serious about taking on a global threat like climate change, would he really be slashing funding from those on the front line?
Well, in this case, actually the UK is increasing its donations of vaccines. I mean, that's my point. I mean, I know where you want to get to. I know what you're worried about. But all I'm saying is, if you look over the past year and the outcome of the COVID pandemic, aren't things moving in the right direction?
Well, the words are moving in the right direction, Adam. But if you look at what our government has actually been doing here, supporting the opening of a new coal mine, granting hundreds of new oil and gas licenses, a £27.5 billion road building programme, that isn't moving in the right direction. Slashing financial support from those who need it most. We've got lots of fine words, but it's not being met by the action. What we want is action in accordance with the science. What the Treasury's own expert report said earlier this year was GDP, gross domestic product. What it really means is gross planetary destruction, gross destruction of the planet.
Okay, Mr. Crosland, I'm sorry to cut you off. We're going to have to end it there. This is Sky News. Do stay with us. Coming up, more on the start of England's coronavirus.